What's your favorite scary movie?
Be like, I'm dying.
If some guy came up to me and said, "Hey, they guys, I'm like, it's over and done. We're married now."
Someone in the movie, so I'm like, kiss. But
Oh God, what a sea of humanity.
No. Oh no.
Hear it.
Hear me? It's a great start. We're doing great.
We're good.
We're
We
good.
got-
Are we good on your end?
We're good.
All right, perfect. Welcome in to welcome into the first episode of 52/1994 from my new place. We're guaranteed to have some technical difficulties here. It's allowed, right?
That's definitely loud. You just got the move done. You're in a new place. I would expect nothing less.
I actually just hit the button on my computer. I was just like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. Power off.
Yeah, fair enough.
Power off.
And
Well,
I'm
welcome
on time.
in. You're on time. You're perfect.
Watch
Your
out,
internet's
man.
better. It's we're doing good things here. But welcome in everybody to 52/1994, your live movie conversation podcast where we dive deep into the movies of 1994. I'm your host Cody, and I'm thrilled to be joined this week by my fantastic co-host Spencer. Welcome in, Spencer.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, as always. You chose this movie, by the way.
I forgot.
I feel like you. We'll talk about it. I got. I'm going to analyze you later.
No.
For those for those tuning in for the first time, we're so glad that you're here. Every week we do this. 52 weeks out of the year we do this, and we explore a different film from the year 1994. It could be a classic hit. It could be a quirky gem. It could be one of the worst movies we've ever seen in our entire life. Not this time, but it could be. We've done a couple that are really, really bad. And we dive into the year's important releases. We discuss them in detail. And then I see, what our guest has been watching or doing lately with movies or music or reading or anything cool. But let's go ahead and talk about our movie, our first movie here, or not our first movie here. The last movie of Disney month, which is The Santa Claus. Did you know that we were doing Disney month?
I'm gonna be honest. No. But now it makes sense.
Yeah, this is our third Disney movie of the year. And so we're excited to be doing this. It is called The Santa Claus. Spencer, have you ever seen the film that we're talking about today?
Yes, of course I have. I mean, I wouldn't say this isn't a yearly watch for me, though. I know a lot of people it is. Every year around the holidays, they have a certain amount of movies that they make sure that they tune into, and this is not that movie for me. For my wife, I think it is, but for me, it's not.
Yeah. No, this is, I think over the last few years, this has become a rewatch for me. I never really thought about it until recently. I don't know, maybe because of 90s nostalgia or something like that. But like, I think I saw this in theaters too, like when it came out. So, because Tim Allen, honestly, was a big part of my childhood.
No, fair enough. Yeah, and we'll talk about him in general later, I'm sure. But
who's having a better 94, 95, like mid 90s than Tim Allen?
Dude, right? Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. Like, he felt like TV's dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kind of takes the reins from, I mean, not to bring him up, but like it kind of taken the reins from Bill Cosby and The Cosby Show. With Home Improvement. I think Home Improvement is probably one of the biggest shows on television at this time. And he is America's dad at this time. Now, unlike Cliff Huxtable and Bill Cosby playing him, Tim is, he kind of is always in character as the same. He's the same guy. Always.
Yeah. I feel like he's very comparable to like a Tom Hanks. He just plays, kind of, I'm not going to say Tom Hanks plays himself all the time, but I mean, it's nothing crazy outlandish. It's, I don't know. It's just kind of like, what to expect when you watch a film with him in it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not stretching his acting too much. What you see is kind of what you get. Now, Tom Hanks is a little bit different. He does do that in movies. That's kind of his bread and butter. But he has stretched a little bit more than Tim Allen does. But yeah, Tim Allen's pretty. I mean, and you're good at it. Stick with it. Why not, right? So why
100%.
not keep doing it? But you said that your wife likes this movie and watches this movie every year. Why is this kind of falling out for you?
I wouldn't say it's fallen out. It's just I watched it when I was young. And I don't know, I just never really came back to it. Again, we'll get into a lot of specifics later. We did actually turn this on earlier today. I wasn't around to watch it with my wife and kid, but she said he didn't care for it. But whenever we turned it on, because I did catch the beginning of it when they turned it on today, and she made a comment. She said they just, and she was joking, but at the same time, there's a lot of truth to it. She said they just don't make movies like this anymore. And I mean, she's right. It's like the lighthearted, like comedy. I don't know, like that opening scene is just like the office party. And I told her too, I was like, they don't have office parties like this anymore either. Like, where people get trashed and embarrass themselves and in front of their coworkers and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, times have changed. And I think you're right. I think that kind of brings me back to the nostalgia for you probably to watch it. We've got a comment in the chat that says they forgot I don't like good movies. Dude, I'm on a mad hate streak lately. And we'll get to it at the end of the stream. I've watched a lot of bad movies lately, or I guess not bad movies, just movies I don't like. And I'm not going to say I don't like this one, but it's not. I mean, it's not a perfect movie by any means.
No, I don't think it is a perfect movie by any means. I do think, there's a lot of Christmas movies out there that we watch year after year after year that are not great movies. There's a couple of movies. There's one that I think came out in '94. It's called Mixed Nuts, and it's terrible. It's not a good movie at all. But I watch it every year because it's just a good, it's a dumb Christmas movie.
I've never even heard of it. I just had the biggest epiphany.
It's not about perfection. It's about sex appeal. That's right.
But no, I mean, part of Christmas movies is that they don't have to be that great, because my wife's favorite thing is to watch Hallmark Christmas movies, and they're all total shit every time. But we watch them and we enjoy them. We like making fun of them. But also it's just that like lighthearted, like you don't have to really pay attention. You know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know. It's almost like a comfort movie when it comes to that. It comes to the whole season in general. It comes to those movies. And it's just like your expectations are pretty low. So it helps.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat brought up like Netflix's movie that's coming out or has come out called Hot Frosty. It is that like we have become accustomed as a culture to love these like terrible Hallmark movies that we do know are terrible, but they're very formulaic and we know what we're going to get with them. They're always going to be some version of It's a Wonderful Life or Die Hard or Home Alone or, you know, the Santa Claus. They're all these kinds of same versions of different versions of the same movie over and over again. And it is comfortable. We want to just laugh and we don't really want to think too much about what we're watching and the story behind it or the plot holes. I'd be interested to see if people can, you know, figure out the plot hole or tell me some of the plot holes in this. Not saying that there aren't any. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head.
No, I think a lot of it too comes down to like the utopian nature of these films because they're set in like a town that's always celebrating Christmas. They always, you know, it's always snowing. It's always beautiful. My wife even told me, she was like, I wish we could live in a town that's, you know, it's always Christmas. It's always, you know, idyllic like that. And I think that's part of it. It's just, it's always such a positive experience for the entire town. The characters, obviously they're going to have, you know, their normal, you know, miscommunication that could have been solved super easy that gets resolved later. But I don't know. It's just that utopian feeling, especially in the world we're living in right now. Like, I don't know. We just kind of need that kind of stuff.
We just all want to live in Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls.
Oh, of course. I would love to live in Stars Hollow. Me and Luke would get along great.
I just want to run this is my dream, is to move to a small town and work at a hardware store for the rest of my life.
Right?
Not Lowe's. I'm talking about John's Hardware down on the corner. That's where I'm working.
And making enough to support your family just by doing that, right?
Yeah, and running a bed and breakfast out of my home. Yeah, we can do that. It's fine. No, but that's what this movie means, and I do love this movie. I will rate it as I think it, you know, appropriately, but I love this movie. I like, and you know, it even has people in it that I don't necessarily care for that much anymore. I used to love Tim Allen, but now I'm not sure how I feel about Tim Allen. But during this time, I love it. Yeah, I love Tim Allen. I love this Christmas movie. It's great. And it's funny, like, and this goes with any like children's movie from the 90s or anything. You show them to a child now, they're bored instantly. I don't know how many times I've tried to do that with my nieces and nephew, where I'm like, you should watch this. It's really great. And they just can't sit through it.
Yeah, I can even relate to that. My mom has tried to get me to watch certain movies that I'm just like, man, it ain't it. Like, I get why you might have liked it back then. And most notably for me, and it's not a Christmas movie at all, obviously, but most notably for me was a movie.
Striptease.
It was Striptease. No, it was... God, I am kind of pissed. It's a scary movie. Okay, we're about to play this game live, and I love
Blair
it.
Witch?
No, it's about this one house that has been haunted.
Amityville Horror.
That's the one. My mom showed it to me when I was, I don't know, maybe 14 or 15. She was like, because I think I might have seen the not the original, the one with Ryan Reynolds. And she was like, you need to watch the original. And so me and my friend watched it, and we were just laughing the whole time because it was just so cheesy and so terrible. So in that regard, I do get it. Like, now I put myself in my son's shoes, and I'm like, I get why you might not like later on in life, I'll show him probably Space Jam, and the original, not the LeBron one. And he's probably going to hate it. But I'll be like, you know what? I get it because I've been in that situation.
Yeah. It's crazy, and I'm going to bring up a fun fact now. Just talking about that generationally, how you can't sit through like movies that are older, kind of, and what you face with your son and everything. This movie was going to be released by Hollywood Pictures, which was owned by Disney at the time. Hollywood Pictures put out more like adult friendly stuff, less like kid centric movies. But when they were screening this for test audiences, it did so well with children that they were like, well, we're just going to release this under the Disney name instead. So that's why it became a Disney movie, official Disney movie under that. So interesting. We'll talk about Space Jam here in a second as I introduce our movie. So this movie is called The Santa Claus. It came out just 30 years ago to this past week, November 11th, 1994. It is directed by John Pasquin, who has collaborated with Tim Allen a lot. He directed a lot of episodes of Last Man Standing, a lot of episodes of Home Improvement. He really likes him some Tim Allen. So familiar face for him. It was written by Leo Benvenuti and Steve Rudnick. They are a writing team out of Chicago. But like I said, I was going to bring up Space Jam. They wrote Space Jam as well.
Oh, no way. I didn't even know that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Pretty cool. This movie has a cast that includes Tim Allen as Scott Calvin, a.k.a. Santa Claus, Eric Lloyd as Charlie Calvin, Wendy Crewson as Laura Miller, Judge Reinhold as Dr. Neil Miller, David Krumholtz as Bernard, the head elf, Paige Tamada as Judy the elf, and Peter Boyle as Mr. Whittle. There's a bunch more people in this movie, but I only went through the important ones that I felt like. Let me give you a synopsis that I pulled from Google. So, divorced dad Scott has custody of his son on Christmas Eve. Weird start. After he accidentally kills a man in a Santa suit, also not necessarily true. They are magically transported to the North Pole, where an elf explains that Scott must take Santa's place before the next Christmas arrives. Scott thinks he's dreaming, but over the next several months, he gains weight, grows an inexplicably white beard. Maybe that night at the North Pole wasn't a dream after all, and maybe Scott has a lot of work to do.
Dude, I hate to do this,
Yeah.
but would now be a good time for you to try to... No, well, I am going to have to do that. But would now be a good time to show the link that I...
All right. This is an unprecedented thing that we're going to do, but I have a special request from my guest host, so we're going to try it here.
The trailer to the Santa Claus.
This is the trailer to the Santa Claus, so bear with us here. We're going to try this, and
I hope it works.
We're going to try it. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
The reason we're here is that this is far more serious than a boy believing or not believing in Santa Claus. You need to sit down with Charlie, explain to him you are not Santa Claus.
There's no reason why we have to tell anybody about the North Pole. I want to keep this secret.
So, what have you been telling him?
Nothing.
Dad took me to the North Pole.
The North Pole?
Yeah, Dad's the new Santa.
I never thought you would stoop to changing your physical appearance. Do you have any concept of how dangerous this is?
Charlie, he's not Santa.
He is too, Santa!
Scott? Charlie! Hello?
Who gave you permission to tell Charlie there's no Santa Claus? I think if we're going to destroy our son's illusions, I should be a part of it.
Name?
Kris Kringle.
Name?
Sinterklaas.
Okay, so that the synopsis that you just read sounded so much like that trailer. I had to interject there because did it not like that sounded like he accidentally kills Santa Claus and then it's like I don't know, like that cut is perfect. You see how quickly this movie could have turned like that.
I love the part in the movie when she is getting out of her car and like she slams the door. It looks and it's just a perfect cut for like a horror movie. Like,
Oh my god, yes.
That was the first time we tried that. Maybe we could do more of that in the future. That was pretty fun. That was
Well,
fun.
it worked really well.
Guys, did it could everybody hear it and everything?
I could hear it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that was not bad. Hopefully I don't get like some copyright thing, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Not a big worry. Anyway, let's get back to it. The budget of this movie is $45 million, and it made a crazy box office of $190.3 million, making it the number 4 movie of the year. So did pretty good. Rotten Tomatoes has this at a 73%, IMDb at a 6.6% out of 10, and Letterboxd at a 3.1 out of 5. Roger Ebert was not the biggest fan of this movie. He said, if I found my attention flagging, maybe it's because I'm not a member of its intended audience. For kids and many teenagers and their families, this is probably going to be a popular film. I personally found I just didn't care much. That despite its charms, the movie didn't push over the top into true inspiration. I would have traded a lot of the Santa Claus for just one shot of Groucho Marx explaining that there ain't no Sanity Claus.
Okay, well, I don't know about that last line, but for the most part, I do feel like Roger actually hit the nail on the head. I think he's right. It's obviously not like the greatest movie. Like, take the Christmas part out of it, I think then you have an entirely different look from, the general audience. But yeah, I don't know what that last line was about.
He gave it 2.4, 5 stars out of 4. Rita Kempley of the Washington Post said, balances the sugar with the spice, which Alan sprinkles on just right. This movie did garner several sequels after this. You have the Santa Claus 2, the Santa Claus 3, the Escape Clause, the Escape Clause, and Disney Plus, I believe last year, I think it was last year, came out with The Santa Clauses, a television show about the whole family, bringing back some familiar faces.
Is that live action or is it animated?
No, it's live action.
Okay, I'd never heard of that. Okay.
Yeah, I honestly, I think I had heard about it once upon a time, but like in doing some research, I was like, oh, hey, all these people. So, a couple people from the old franchise from the first one are. And have you seen any of the other sequels?
Ooh, my wife likes them. I feel like she watches them, and they freak me the fuck out. I'm not gonna lie. There's one scene in particular. I think it's probably from the third one, where I don't know if it was a makeup issue or if they tried too much CGI or what. But Tim Allen just looked insane. I don't know.
I think that's the one where they like replace him. There's one where they like replace him with a like fake Santa Claus.
That's what it was.
He's very shiny and yeah.
No, I wasn't into that.
Yeah, I think I've only seen the second one. I've not seen the third one with Martin Short.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I did. Okay, so she said that was the third one.
Oh, that is the third one? Yeah, I don't know.
I guess I've never. I might have seen like bits and pieces of the second one, but not a whole lot. There's one part of a sequel that my wife always quotes, and it's the lady from what is it, Superstar? What's her name?
Molly Shannon?
Yeah. Where she's the waitress, I think, at a Denny's, maybe again. And she says, she sings, I feel like a woman, but she says, it feels like some Christmas. I don't know. We make fun of it. So
I don't know. I definitely do not watch those as much. And I'm going to treat it like we don't even know what those movies are about. Nope. Because that will break some of my conversation that we have later. Now let's get into our movie discussion. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about some of the scenes that really stand out to you. I'll just start with you.
Okay, so just to start out, and I'll get into it later too, but also like there's no real rhyme or reason why. I don't know why I like the scene, I guess. I don't know if it hits home or what, but for some reason the scene where they go to Denny's, and it's not even that long. Like, it's not even that long. Like, the dad fucks up the turkey, and then they're just like, let's go to Denny's because it's the only place open. And I'm like, bro, that feels familiar. Like, I don't know if I have some repressed memory or something, but it feels too familiar. It's always stuck with me.
All right, let's get into it now.
Don't get too into it. We can talk about it off the stream, but don't get too into it.
You are drawn to movies, I feel like, that are very similar.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. We can talk about it later. Let's not go there. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Bro, he's looking around and he sees the dad. He burned his hand. Like, he's like, yeah, I got you. And I feel like that's why I come back to saying, like, Tim Allen feels like the dad of our generation.
Yeah,
and even though he's
the worst dad of our generation.
Yeah. He might suck now, but back then he didn't.
Yeah, I see where you're. I've noticed in some of the movies that we do together.
Oh yeah, have you?
Yeah.
Dude, that's why I actually highlighted it in red. I said, not gonna say this on stream, but between Cody and I feel like this movie hit home for me. But you brought it up.
The cradle and the silver spoon.
Here we are.
All right, we'll go past it.
Uh-oh. No. Somebody said, why does he suck now?
Why does he suck now? Who? Why does Tim Allen suck now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's just,
super right wing.
I was going to say, yeah, he was way cooler when he was dealing cocaine.
That's the easiest way to say it. There's a lot more, but
yeah. No, I do like the somebody pointed that out right before they go to Denny's, him extinguishing the fire on the turkey. It was very funny.
It was, because it burst back into flames.
And it is very reminiscent of another bad dad movie that we'll talk about later. Oh,
I'm interested now.
I got you hooked. You gotta wait.
I fuck with bad dads.
Bad dads, baby. Getting even with dad. Santa falls off the roof and dies. That was my first scene.
Does he? Does he die?
Okay, so I wasn't going to do the big question, like, officially, but we can get into it right now.
Play the fucking theme song.
You play that fucking theme song.
You better play that fucking song right now.
All right, let's play that theme song. We're doing it all today.
Yes.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Okay, but the big question on everybody's lips.
Yeah, they're chapped lips.
They're chapped lips, right.
Does that answer your question?
Good question, Aguado.
No, that's the most important question to which I hope to find an answer.
That used to be 45. That used to be 45 seconds long.
I'm so happy today.
All right, does the Santa die? That's the big question. Or, in my notes, I had this written down. Or is it just the Dread Pirate Roberts scam? If you've ever seen the Princess Bride, the Dread Pirate Roberts that he becomes, they always like pass it down. And they never, like, it's always just the same one. Does he really die, though? Because I choose to think that he is not dying.
I agree with you. I don't think he died, because if he died, there would be a dead body right there in the snow.
Right.
And there's not. He disappeared because he passed it on to this guy.
And he does the like wave thing as he's leaving. So I think it's been set up from the start.
I think so too.
Do we think it's like, do you think that Scott was chosen intentionally?
That I don't know. That's a good ass question. Now that you say it, I do think that. I think that it was decided from above him in the North Pole that they were like, this dad needs this to reconnect with his son, so they chose him intentionally. Then that's what I choose to believe.
I like that. And then this goes into it too, because of, okay, I am going to talk about Santa Claus 2 here for a second. The plot of the Santa Claus 2 is that there's an extra clause that he has to get married. So there has to be a Mrs. Claus.
Oh.
So if Santa Claus dies, what happened to Mrs. Claus? She didn't fall off some roof.
Oh, shit.
So that's why I'm thinking that nobody ever really dies.
Yeah, but then also you have this point in the chat about you got to pick somebody whose initials are SC.
Well, I bet there are plenty of them. Spencer
Well,
Griffin?
Do you know my middle name? And I hesitate to say this, and I won't go too into detail, but it does start with a C.
Spencer Christopher.
Let's not guess. I'm just saying.
No, but what I'm thinking is, here's what I'm thinking. Santa Claus decides, hey, I've done this for a couple hundred years. Or maybe it's like 60 years. I don't know. And they just revert back and live with their Mrs. Claus. Like they get, hot again and revert back and aren't themselves anymore.
That's tough. I don't know. Somebody asked if there's a special place in heaven for Santa Claus, and I gotta ask, who says they go to heaven?
Why wouldn't they go to heaven?
I don't know. What if you got a bad Santa? That's a movie.
Billy Bob Thornton thing. Reincarnated as a reindeer. Okay.
Speaking of, well, we'll get to that later too. Never mind. Well, you know what? No, fuck it. We're talking about it now. Why? And I think this movie stays true to this question as well. In most movies, other than Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, why is Rudolph never there?
I don't, because they don't need him. They only needed him that one night.
So Rudolph was a one-trick pony.
I think Rudolph is like a break glass in case of emergency kind of reindeer.
So they just got him in the stables just in case, like it's a shit.
Like, oh, it's really foggy out. Go get Rudolph.
I don't like it. Rudolph ain't that clutch.
Rudolph isn't real. Is a bold choice. Don't say that, man. You got to believe.
Oh shit.
Oh whoa, we just got a paragraph in chat about Santa Claus.
Oh shit, it's popping off.
Man, chat, you're going crazy. Let's read this one. The body of Santa Claus is weaker than the normal human body because of the breaches in the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
Time freezes so he can visit all the kids, matter reduction to fit down into chimneys, etc. So while normally a fall from this height into a giant bank of soft snow would not be lethal, it's completely plausible that this may kill Santa.
I think the second half of that is actually the opposite. Because I think because of the matter reduction, I think it would be harder to kill Santa Claus.
I've seen Violent Night. It's pretty hard to kill. Oh, it's not canon. The same reason why the little drummer boy isn't in the nativity scene. It's not canon. That's why Rudolph's not a real reindeer.
Okay.
I like it.
Chat is helping out today.
Good job, chat. Good job. We had a rough start to this because of me, but good job. You guys are great. We love you. Love each and every one of you. But I don't feel like we answered our question, but I still think that is I'm glad that we both don't think that Santa died.
No,
I choose to think he's like living his best life right now.
Oh, for sure. He figured his shit out. He's like, all right, I got what I needed out of it. On to the next.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe this gets explored in some of the sequels, some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I did like that they were always like explaining things like how they did get down the chimney, how he does visit all the kids and what. Like there were like throwaway things, but like especially the space-time continuum thing is like a throwaway line. But it did only seem like that town got Christmas presents that night.
Yeah, but I mean, I do like that they explain, like you said, they explain how he got down houses that don't have chimneys because, like, a lot of houses now don't. So,
well,
like,
growing up, my house had a chimney, but we didn't have a fireplace.
The fuck?
No, we had a chimney, and it went down to our like a wood burning furnace thing.
And you just didn't have nothing in it.
Yeah, there was just nothing, and my dad blocked it off at one point, and I was like, "What's Santa gonna do? You know, walk through the front door?" Yeah. I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
and we just want to make sure everybody in chat and everybody on this, including you, still believe in Santa Claus, right? We're all in agreement.
100%.
Just in case my mom sees this, she'll spank me.
Speaking of spanking, there's a fun fact about that.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good one. Other scenes that we're missing here. I mean, we've got a lot, but we've only covered two.
I jumped a little bit. I put that when he gains all the weight and goes to the doctor. Does this look like a little weight to you? Like, it's iconic.
What about the North Pole?
Okay.
Did you like the North Pole?
I did not.
Oh, okay. I like the North Pole scene. I
do not care for the scenes when they're at the North Pole, and I don't know why. I don't have. I feel it just. I don't know. I don't like it.
You hate Bernard.
Not a huge Bernard fan. Nope.
Okay. No, we've got. You meet Bernard there. You meet Judy, who I will say, Judy was when I was a child. Like, that's like a sexual awakening character for me. I loved Judy.
Careful.
I was careful. I said when I was a child.
Well, she's technically like a couple hundred years old.
She's older than me.
Yeah.
In IRL, she is now. But back then, I was like, Judy's got it. And she's got a hot chocolate recipe. Hence the name.
Back then, I get it. I'm not going to say I don't get it.
No. You think you're very funny, but you're not. Spencer is Krampus a little bit.
I'm still shaking that.
The person I did not like from the North Pole, I think we get introduced to later. His name's Quentin. I don't like that kid. I don't like the whole them like redesigning stuff for Charlie just gets in there and he knows their technology. Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a lot of problems. When you get to the North Pole scenes, there are a lot of issues that that part of the movie just did not resonate with me at all.
It's just it's magic, I guess. Magic solves everything. No, becoming Santa Claus, though, I had that as my next scene. And I've quoted does this look like a little weight to you? Because I have the belly to do it. You want me to do it on screen? Lift up my shirt. No, we'll get banned. This isn't a hot tub stream. Don't give me that lip.
I've got something that kind of goes along with that. I mean, you could probably tie it into the same scene. It's the kids lining up to see him at the soccer game.
Oh,
it cracked me up. It was so funny.
It is very funny, but you watch it now and you're like, that don't pass. That wouldn't pass.
No. But at the same time, like, it does make sense because kids are like this. Like, it's Santa. He's got a white hair and a white beard. Like, of course they're going to call him Santa, and then they line up. Just, I don't know. It made a bunch of sense.
It's really cute. I like the scene when he shaves off his beard and comes into the office and he's like, oh yeah, I got stung by a bee. They say the swelling will go down. And then he orders all this like junk food and the salad.
Yes.
He doesn't eat the salad at all. I love that.
He says, no, it's okay. I just got stung by a bee. And he's like, I'll just have a salad and this and this and this and this and this and this.
Hot fudge sundae.
That was really good.
Him going to see the doctor. I love the doctor's response. He's like, there it is. Stay off the sweets.
Yep.
That's going to solve the problem. Him dyeing his hair. Oh my gosh. It's so good. Then he kind of finally accepts it though. Once he gets like the the list delivered to him and everything. He's
Oh,
fine.
all the packages.
All the packages of all those FedEx vans leaving. I also don't like the list.
No,
It's not an alphabetical order, which kind of makes me mad.
dude, it's insane. Why? It doesn't make any sense.
You've got you've got technology on your sleigh now to do all these things. You can't have a computer program by that point? I know it's 1994, but I know what kind of computer programs they have then. You could easily do it.
Filing cabinets delivered.
You also get horny Tim Allen while he's Santa Claus. That Veronica, very nice.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
In your dreams, sleigh boy. No, that's good. And you're right. Once we get down to Christmas and everything, it kind of starts to go off the rail. Oh, he loses his kid for a while, like loses custody. Yeah,
the last scene I've got, and we'll get to the custody part later. The last scene I've got is the scene that we actually just watched on that trailer was the interrogation scene. I just think that one was so funny, but also like you put that music to it was so good. Sinterklaas.
I've been misquoting that my entire life.
I have too.
And I'm sure most of you are going to find this out when we get to our quotes. But yeah, we've all been misquoting this movie. And yeah, it's pretty great. What about the ELFs? How do you feel about the ELFs?
Fucking hate the ELFs.
I figured you'd hate the ELFs.
Dude, maybe the worst part of the entire, and you know, it's not maybe. It is the worst part of the entire movie. That scene sucked.
I wanted to be that head ELF guy so bad. Dude, I thought he was so cool.
He was such a douche.
He was so cool.
Biggest douche award goes to that guy.
Oh, no way. He seemed so cool. Like the way he talked, I was like,
right now.
It was like, there's no way an 11-year-old should talk the way that kid is talking. But he's talking that way. He seems so cool to me.
Nah. I don't want him. He's definitely in prison right now.
I don't think he is. I looked him up. He's not in prison.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. He's not in prison. I think he still acts. The only other thing I put down here was the very end when the mom and Neil both get their gifts that they didn't get when they were children.
That's your favorite?
No, like I remember it because of Neil taking the little weenie whistle and blowing in it at the end.
That was pretty funny.
I love that. All right, who's your favorite character then?
Okay. Listen. I've got a few.
That's fine.
No, I've got two. One of them's okay. The first one I put Neil, Judge Reinhold.
He's my scene stealer.
Dude, he is. He's so good. He's too good. I think he's almost too good for this movie. Like he should not be that good.
And when you're a kid and you're watching this, you hate Neil.
You do, and that's how you know it. He's good. I also put as I guess a scene stealer. That little. Oh my god, I hate saying this. That cute little girl elf.
Who, Judy?
Weird. Yes, Judy. It feels
She's
weird.
Great. She is great though.
She's adorable.
When you're dealing with like child actors and stuff, like she was really good in
she had no business being. Did you look her up? Like, does she still act?
Paige Tamada. She is. I don't know if she kept acting or anything. This looked like the only like movie she was in. But I guess she does reappear in the Santa Claus's TV, like the Disney Plus series.
Okay.
Yeah, she's.
I also just wanted to give a huge shout out to Judith Scott because I love her, and she wasn't in this much, but she's in like a whole lot of like network TV, and she's in one of my I don't know what do you even call this movie. One of my all-time interesting movies called Bad Hair that came out in 2020 about a possessed weave that this girl gets. So, yeah, there's that.
I thought for a sec, doesn't Judah Scott look like I thought she was the character from Dumb and Dumber.
No.
I thought they looked alike.
I'll disagree with you a little bit there.
That's fine. I just, for a long time, I thought they were the same person.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, you should definitely watch Bad Hair about the possessed weave.
She is in Dunstan Checks In though, so.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've seen it.
I knew she was in some other movie though. He's talking about Susan from this movie. She's Scott's like partner at the advertising agency that they work at, or toy company that they work at. Sorry, wrong show or wrong movie.
So, other than Judge Reinhold, who do you have as a favorite character as Scene Stealer?
I like Bernard. You hate Bernard, but I like Bernard. I like the attitude that Bernard brings. I like when he yells at Scott at the North Pole. I love that. He's like,
I hated that.
Listen, I like it because and like it puts Scott in his place a little bit. Scott's the douchebag.
Why is Bernard so pissed? You're supposed to be in the North Pole and be happy.
But because he's dealing with this child of a man who's refusing his duty, even though he signed the contract.
He didn't want the duty.
He signed the contract. He
didn't sign shit.
You got to read the fine print, man. That's what this movie's all about.
We've got some shit. I gotta pee, and we've got some shit to catch up on.
Don't you take me with you though?
I'm not taking. You're plugged in, so I can't. Goodbye.
Good. I can't. He has to pee so much. I'll never understand it. I'll never understand why he can't pee before the stream. He could have peed while we were doing the trailer. He could have peed at any of the times in this. Always has to pee. I think he needs to go get a colonoscopy. Not to scare him, but I think he should. If he can't control his bladder, I think he needs to see a doctor. Let's get into some of our favorite quotes from this movie. We had just talked about Judy a little bit. She has one of the best delivered lines, I think, in this movie. And that is where Scott says, you look pretty good for your age. Because she said she was like 900 years old or whatever. And Judy responds thinking that he's hitting on her by saying, thanks, but I'm seeing someone in rapping. I think that is one of the best delivered lines in this movie. And it's pretty funny. Let's see. I heard the toilet flush. You all heard that too. I should have just muted him. God, what's wrong with me? Neil says, Scott, what was the last thing you and Charlie did before you went to Christmas Eve? And Scott, sarcastically, as he does throughout the whole movie, says, we shared a bowl of sugar, did some shots of brown liquor, played with my shotguns, field dressed the cat, looked for women. I thought that was really funny. What are some lines you got now that you've relieved yourself?
Also, apparently my son took a shit in that toilet. But he didn't flush, so that was nice. No, I also had that line, and I continued it. And then, because he said, look for women. I read him a book, and then I think it was Neil or the principal or whatever said, what book? And he said, Hollywood Wives.
That is a very 90s book, or 80s, 90s book to pull out, too. Like, insane.
Dude, I have a lot of quotes on this one because this is a pretty quotable movie, to be honest.
This is a really quotable movie. Do we want to talk about the line that we've been misquoting?
You go ahead, yeah.
All right, everybody. It is not Popo Gigio whenever he's being interrogated. It is Topo Gigio. And this is not Italian for Santa Claus. This is a character from a Italian cartoon mouse character or Muppet or puppet, that was on the Johnny Carson or Ed Sullivan. Ed Sullivan was what it was. A small Italian mouse puppet that was on the Ed Sullivan show. And that is him imitating Ed Sullivan, and he says Topo Gigio. It is. Not
I say
Topo
that
Gigio.
every time that I get some Topo Chico at the store now. I say Topo Chico.
Topo Chico. That blew my mind. I don't know if it's blowing anybody else's mind that's watching, but it blew my mind.
It blew mine as well for a little bit because I didn't know what he said.
It's not a Christmas puppet at all either. It is just an Italian mouse puppet.
It's not Hanky the Christmas Pooh either.
No, it's not.
So the first quote I have is very early. And it's when he's on the phone acting like there's a bunch of stuff going on in traffic, and he said, "And same to you. That's not very ladylike."
It's pretty good.
It was good. I feel like, and I could be wrong, that seemed like it could have been improv because apparently he's very big into improving a lot of his lines.
I believe it. What about when he's talking to his wife about Charlie, and he says, "Where is he?" And she responds, "Well, he could be listening to records, jumping up and down on his bed, wearing a red hat and galoshes." And Scott replies, "I don't care what Neil's doing. Where's Charlie?"
Dude, that one was so good. That one was very good.
He dumps on Neil so much in this movie. And there's a part that it got cut out. Oh, we were going to bring that up.
Oh, yeah. But honestly, and I put this up here because when I'm watching, I like to take notes. I put, I love all the times he roasts that bitch Neil because he does. He rags on him so much. It's so good.
He does, man.
I've got one other than that one. I've actually got a sad one.
Oh.
And it's kind of that part that like hits home. Let me just preface this also by saying this is where did I write that? Hold on. Give me just a second. Oh yeah. So I think this is the first time I've watched this movie since I've had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And like some parts of it hit really different now. And one of it was like whenever he was at his dad's house and like his mom was leaving and he said like, "Do I gotta stay?" And I was just like, God, it freaking crushed me. Like I was just like, dang, like Scott must be like a real piece of shit.
Yeah. Just like not very fun to be around. He's like, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Just a bad dad.
I don't want to get too into it. And then Scott Calvin saying, or no, I think it was Charlie said, "I like him a lot." Talking about Neil. "I like him a lot. He listens to me." And then Scott says, "Yeah," then charges you for it.
The hate for psychiatrists during like this time is crazy. Now everybody's got one. Neil doesn't believe in Santa, is what Charlie says, and then Scott says, "Well, Neil's head comes to a point."
Dude, I should have wrote that one down. That one was good. Just the Rose Such a Clatter Company part, like it wasn't even like necessarily a quote, just like it was, but I don't know, it's just funny.
It is funny.
He said, Charlie said, "Look, you're flying," and Scott says, "It's okay, I'm used to it. I lived through the 60s.
Let's see here. Okay. You're gonna make. Here's where kind of Charlie dumps on Neil a little bit. He says, "You're gonna make a great psychiatrist someday, kid." And Charlie says, "Nah, I think I'm gonna go into the family business." Not that his dad is a part of his stepdad is a part of his family. Just like an ultimate, just like
that was a hell of a dig.
It's like Neil's not a bad dad. He listens to you, like, and then you're just gonna be like, "Nah, I'm gonna be Santa Claus someday," which means he has to kill his dad.
Yeah, I actually kind of felt bad for Neil watching this as an adult, because Neil's trying to do the best he can. Although I do feel like he steps his bounds a little bit as a stepfather, but
He's not a stepfather. He's a father that steps up.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I'm about to lose my. One line that Scott says was, I'm not even sure I remember when he says it, but he says, "When I wake up, I'm getting a CAT scan."
I'm going to go ahead and read the actual Santa Claus. From here. In putting on the suit and entering the sleigh, the wearer waives any and all rights to any previous identity, real or implied, and fully accepts the duties and responsibilities of Santa Claus in perpetuity until such time that wearer becomes unable to do so by either accident or design. So that's the actual Santa Claus. Locked in, man.
Dude. I've got one last one. And that was, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. Somebody said, because Scott said he got stung by a bee, and I can't remember who said it, but they said, "Stung by a bee, Scott?" And he said, "A big bee." And I don't know why, but for some reason that reminded me of something our friend Seth would say. It sounded like a quip he would come back with.
One thing I'll say about Tim Allen and his comedy is like the inflection that he has on certain phrases when he says it. His timing is so good. Like even when he's reading, this is my last quote. Whenever they're talking about the Santa in a tank or whatever for their toy company. He has that. He's like, "Well, isn't this a pretty picture? Santa rolling down the block in a Panzer. Well, kids, I certainly hope you've been good this year because it looks like Santa just took out the Pearson home. Incoming!" Like that whole scene.
Dude, that conference table scene was really good. That was. I probably should have put that in my best scenes.
Yeah, that one's pretty great. I think that's it for me. Yeah. Also, all the time, the interrogation scene where he's listing off all the different names of Santas was huge for me when I was a kid. But ultimately I've been destroyed. There is a line that is not in the movie anymore that is very funny. It is only on the VHS that I'm watching behind me. But it's not on the DVD version. It is not on the Disney Plus version. It's when Laura hands him, he says, "Here's Neil's mother's number." And Scott says, 1-800-SPANK-ME. I know that number.
Apparently that was a real sex line too.
Yeah. That's topical because did you see where Wicked, for the Wicked movie, the Barbies,
yes,
they put Wicked.com as the
rookie mistake, man.
Rookie mistake. Are you 18? Are you over 18? Click yes.
Dang.
All right, biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill in this movie?
I've got 3. I've got 2 laughs and a cry.
All right, list them out, brother.
So I just put woke up fat.
There's so much fat shaming in this movie too.
There's a lot. I also, as a laugh, put in the Santa lineup, they had a black Santa, and I just put that was very on brand with what would happen today. Like, even though they know Santa's white, like they would definitely bring in a black Santa and be like, "Yeah, he's probably back out."
Yeah, in reality, he would have went to jail.
Oh, 100%.
That's the way it goes.
And then my cry was Charlie fucking bawling as they left the courthouse. Gosh, it crushed me, dude.
Yeah. Again, yeah, that is pretty hard. My laugh was does this look like a little weight to you? I love when he jiggles his belly. I love that.
It jiggles perfect, dude.
Oh, it's such a good jiggle.
Good job on. Well, we might get to this too, but I say good job on whoever did the fat suit, but maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah. Anything else from that section?
Nope, that's all I got.
Most what the fuck or ridiculous moment from this movie?
I have 4.
I have 2.
Because a lot of this was pretty ridiculous. And one of them you actually loved. So,
the North Pole?
Yeah. Him looking through the magnifying glass at the business card and Bernard yelling at him is what I've got.
I liked Bernard yelling at him.
Nah, dog. Fuck Bernard. All my friends hate Bernard. I put the stupid Jingle Bell heart rhythm.
That's pretty tough. That's a very irregular heartbeat to have, even as a Santa Claus.
Right? Yeah. The doctor was just like, interesting. But apparently that was edited out of the TV version of this movie. So I don't know. I'm not going to say I hadn't seen that before because I did seem familiar, but I hadn't seen it every time I've watched it because sometimes had been on TV.
Yeah.
The instant hair growth was absolutely ridiculous. And then I put the ELFS going to rescue Charlie because
ELFS.
Hated that.
I didn't love it. I thought it was way cooler when I was a kid, though.
Of course, yeah. That would be one of those things. And then they tie up that guy, and they're like, "Well."
Yeah. It's a fun part. That's like kids getting back at adults, That's why it's in there.
Yeah, okay.
I put gagging from soy milk. It's not that bad.
It's not, dude.
That bad. I mean, even if you are expecting regular milk is not that strong of a it's not like he acted like it was sour milk.
Yeah.
It really made me mad.
Dude, as an adult too, I've grown to kind of dig almond milk and shit. The stuff kind of slaps.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not terrible. It does not taste like sour milk though. That was insane. And that I'm glad he was so mean to that girl in the first place.
Dude, right?
So mean to her.
That girl definitely should have hated Santa after that.
I think so too. Also, okay, plot hole. What happens to Scott's house and life after a year? Because he gets a year to become Santa Claus and fulfill his duties. He doesn't after this, he doesn't get to go back. He is Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's a good question.
He lives at the North Pole now.
That, I don't know.
And maybe it gets explained in 2 or 3. I don't remember, but that is ridiculous to me. It would be kind of cool to, I'll be myself for, 10 months out of the year, but then you get me as Santa Claus for the other 2. It's magical. Just let me live my life.
Huh.
Never really thought about this, did you?
I did not.
That's okay. Maybe it should have been in the big question. You want me to play the theme song again?
No, because I haven't given it thought.
Okay, best music moment or score.
Dude, my memory has failed me. This is going to require me to go back and rewatch this movie, but there is an iconic sequence, and I can't even explain it, of 4 notes. I don't even know if I can convey what they are. All I wrote was low, higher, lower, lower. Dude, I'm telling you, I can't. When you hear it, if I can go back and figure it out and just clip it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
You'll need to tell me exactly where it is in the movie. You'll have to give me a time frame.
No, that didn't help.
That sounded like Close Encounters.
Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe that's where they got it from. But I need to go back and find it. It's not even necessarily that important. It just, for some reason, that's one specific sequence of notes says the Santa Claus to me.
Okay, yeah. This movie, I was listening to the score before we started and everything. The guy who did the score, his name is Michael Convertino. And for the longest time, I thought this was a John Williams movie because the score of this sounds like a mix of Home Alone and Harry Potter.
I So the Harry Potter one, I'm not sure about. The Home Alone part, I get.
It is. They're the same. There is like a section where it's like in Home Alone. It seems a little bit more. I don't know, like downtrodden, like not downtrodden, but it seems a little bit more of like a negative thing, because or ominous because of like his house is about to get robbed. And the difference in this is that it's more of a happier. It like goes up. It's more happy.
I wonder if that 4-note thing.
It's the same thing that you're thinking about.
It might be. It literally might be because it sounded so familiar. Like it seriously might be that.
No, but there is, if you search Santa Claus score, there's like a YouTube video where you can listen to the music, and it's good. And you can only think the Santa Claus with this. I think this needs to get a little bit more credit than it probably got, because the score is pretty good. The score is good. It's like that perfect combination of like there's a lot of like bells and horns, and it's very Christmassy. It's great. So good.
But it's not like campy, cheesy Christmas either.
No, not at all. Not at all. I really enjoyed it. I also want to give love to the song "Give Me All Your Lovin'" by ZZ Top, because when it came on, I even did the dance moves the little pause and everything.
With ZZ Top, yeah.
Yeah. As I was watching it, Alyssa goes, "What purpose did that serve? Them to, like, why did they just decide to do that in the middle of it?" It's pretty funny. Anything else you want to point out?
No, that's all I've got for music. Again, I wish I could find it more clearly, but I don't know. It might just be something to myself.
Maybe we're talking about the same thing, because there are certain notes that it starts out like Home Alone, and then it becomes the Santa Claus.
Yeah,
it's very
just with one switch.
Minimal. Yeah. All right, it's ready for F, Marry, Kill.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It is. Put your emojis or whatever emoticons. Put them in the chat. It's time for F, Marry, Kill. We're gonna F, we're gonna marry, and we're gonna kill. So put them in the chat. Do it now. I want to see so many of them. Yes. It's certain now. All right, we're gonna do Neil, Laura, and Scott, but not Santa Claus Scott.
You got Laura. Is that the mom?
Laura's the mom. And Neil and Scott.
I like the mixture of men and women. Gosh, dog. Neil. I think what I'm gonna do. No, fucking hell. This is a tough one, dude.
Yeah. I gave you all the parents. Your kid. I think you kill Scott. I think that's the right answer.
I think you're probably right, to be completely honest. I think you kill Scott.
I think that's right in chat. I think that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, I think she's right. Yeah, I think you kill Scott, F mom, and marry Neil. I'm torn on marrying. I'm torn on the mom and Neil. Might flip those.
You want to marry the mom? I want to know what her if she has a job. Maybe she's a housewife. You think she's got a job?
I don't know. I don't think
not that being a housewife is not a job. Let's go ahead and say that. That's a job.
I'm changing it. I'm killing Scott. I'm effing Neil. And then I think I'm going to marry mom. Because Neil, if I had to deal with 1 week of Neil, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Poor Neil, man.
He's annoying.
Scott, kill Neil.
I mean, he's cool in small doses.
But it's a lot can be explained about Neil and his character trajectory. I mean, he stopped believing in Santa Claus when he was 3.
Because he didn't get that weenie whistle, dog.
Which is crazy, and that is a plot hole that
at 3 years old.
But like, why isn't Santa giving them? Like, does he just get to pick and choose? Like, oh, like the only thing this kid wanted was a weenie whistle, and you couldn't get it for him. Like,
Dude, did I read something about the weenie whistle? Let me see if I can find it.
if you find it, that's great. But yeah, like she doesn't get her mystery date. Like, does it have to do with like your mental state? Like, oh, there's already some doubt in this child's mind of whether or not Santa exists because so he doesn't get toys anymore. Like, when does that happen?
Does Santa? Oh, that's a good
Does
question.
Santa have override power of the list? I don't know. Or I guess Neil could have been naughty when he was 3, and that's why he didn't get a gift.
But now part of it was the fact that
I love that your monitor looks like it's on your ceiling.
Well, I got a lot going on.
Are you working right now?
Listen.
Listen. All right, who gave the best performance in this movie while you're looking at this?
I found it.
Okay, all right, give it to me.
Neil states that Santa didn't bring him a weenie whistle, right?
Yes.
But the Oscar Mayer weenie whistle was given away by quote unquote little Oscar from the Wienermobile and was given away with packages of Oscar Mayer wieners bought at grocery stores and meat markets in the early mid 50s. Kids saw them in Oscar Mayer TV ads, so they would know this. So yeah, Santa didn't get those. The Wienermobile gave those.
But then Santa gave it to them at the end.
Nah, dog.
You're wrong.
It's a big plot hole.
It's a giant plot hole. I don't like
the
it.
weenie whistle. It's a giant weenie hole.
Why would you shatter a 3-year-old child's dreams?
Well, I mean, I shattered my 3-year-old child's dreams because he asked to be a freight train when he grows up. So, like, I had to let him know you can't be a train.
Wow.
When you grow up. So.
Wow. I don't know how I feel about that. If he wants to be a train, you tell him he can be a train.
Can he?
I mean, is it really going to mess him up that bad?
I guess I am being pretty transphobic.
Yeah.
I'm a dad.
That's a good joke. That's a good joke.
That was pretty good. He did say that he wanted to be a train when he got older, so that's a very good joke.
Did you just come up with that?
I did, and I'm very proud of it. So
that's a good one. Claps
I'll be riding this high for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, those are tomatoes.
Not the tomatoes. Not the tomatoes. Spencer, that's a good joke. All right, who gave the best performance in this movie?
I put Judge Reinhold. I mean, as much as I want to give Tim Allen credit, like I still feel like we had talked about earlier, like when you grow up and you hate a character that bad, like they did a really good job at acting. Like I feel like he almost like I don't know. You could argue that he overacted it. Like he crushed it, dude. He made himself the villain so well, but at the same time, as an adult, like you understand him. I just thought he did really well.
I love him. I love his acting whenever Bernard shows up to the house and he's like, has no idea where this guy came from. And he's like checking it, like Bernard's checking his sweater to see if it's one of theirs. And he's just like freaking out. Judge Reinhold is killing it in that scene. Judge Reinhold deserved a better career than he got. He was great in the 80s. Like all the Beverly Hills Cop stuff. He's so good in those movies. Fast Times, obviously. But
I was going to ask you about that because I was going to ask you about like his career in general, because I remember him strictly from this and, like you said, Beverly Hills Cop. And I was wondering why he never got like more work or like bigger work, because he's great at what he does.
He's a great comedy star. I mean, he shows up in the sequels to this, but yeah, and like he doesn't have to be like a number one guy ever. He can
He's like-
always be that guy in the back.
Yeah, he's such a good supporting actor.
Yeah, he really is. He is so good. And he lives in Little Rock.
Well, that helps.
Yeah, it's cool. That's, if for anybody that's not familiar
Wait,
with
does he still live here?
That's what it says. It says he still lives there. I sold his wife tickets one time to the Arkansas Symphony. Yeah.
Who's his wife?
I don't know. Her last name's Reinhold now, but
he didn't. I might be thinking of something else. Never mind.
Yeah, she called me on the phone. She wanted some season tickets to the Arkansas Symphony, and so I sold them to her.
Oh snap! That's a cool.
That's
a cool claim to fame.
Cool. Yeah, I think Tim Allen's an incredible comedy actor here. Again, he's having like the best mid 90s that anybody. Probably the only one having a better mid 90s is probably Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
But Tim Allen's definitely having a great mid 90s there. All right, recasts. 94 and 2024. Did you do it?
I did it. I'm not usually great at these. I wasn't that disappointed in my selections this time. I have Al Borland as Santa. Okay. Just kidding. I did not. I actually had as Santa, I thought Forrest Whitaker for 1994. I thought he was having a pretty good mid-90s as well. For Charlie, I had Taj Mowry, if you know who that is.
Yeah, I know. He's the smart guy.
Yeah, of course. I'm just making sure. The mom, I had to go with Cheryl Lee Ralph.
I thought you were going to go with the mom from House Guest.
Oh, listen, I got a lot of house guests.
Sinbad would be a great Scott Calvin.
Oh, you said it, not me. You said it, not me.
I'm just in your head. That's the other reason.
And then as for Neil, I've got two. I've either got Nicolas Cage or Tim Robbins.
Okay. I like it. I think I like Tim Robbins of those.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So this was in Fun Facts and everything, but this was actually pitched as a Bill Murray movie. And I thought of him immediately because of Groundhog Day. It's kind of a very similar character. He goes from being a jerk to being a much better person. Same thing with like Mel Gibson. This is very reminiscent of What Women Want. Another instance where there's a guy who's a jerk and then he becomes not a jerk by the end of the movie. So I thought either one of those guys could have played it. I don't know if I buy Bill Murray as a father, though. I could buy Mel Gibson as a bad dad.
And he was in What Women Want. I agree though that because I saw that Bill Murray was the number one for this role. And also Tom Hanks was considered, of course.
Chevy Chase was another one too.
Yeah. But I thought that as well, like, I don't know if we've ever really seen Bill Murray as a dad. I mean, he has been a dad, but not as like a super, super prominent movie.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. That would have been a completely different movie. Tim Allen's the right choice.
No, it was. Yeah.
What about 2024? Anybody?
I did, yeah. So for the mom, I put America Ferrera.
I did Rashida Jones for the mom.
Oh, I could buy that easy.
Yeah.
And in fact, I put
I like America Ferrera. That's a good one.
For one of my notes, I put that I was not impressed with the current mom's character, and that was I don't know. She just didn't do it.
I don't think it was her fault. They just never gave her anything.
No, it was different. It was a writing thing. But yeah, nothing against her. For Neil, I put Jesse Plemons.
I went with Colin Hanks for Neil.
Colin Hanks would have been good. Yeah, that's good. I actually was torn between three for Santa or Scott Calvin. One, I'm most happy about this last selection, but I'll give you the first two first. The first one I've got Kumail Nanjiani
Okay. I like that.
The second one I forgot is Dan Levy.
Okay.
And then, but the one I'm most proud of, mainly because of the initials, is Steve Carell. Like Etsy.
Ooh, that's good. I didn't even think about Steve Carell.
Yeah,
That's
the
good.
Etsy just made sense. And then
Yeah.
for Charlie, because Charlie is kind of a what would you call that? Just like a neutral name. I have Darby Camp from she's from the Christmas Chronicles.
Oh, which very similar movie, like kind of similar vibes in this movie.
Yeah, that's why I originally thought of her. And then I think we had watched a movie with her in it, my wife and I, not long ago. So
Darby Camp.
you'll recognize her when you see her.
Oh yeah. A little bit old, age Charlie up a little bit too.
Yeah, again, that was the hard part, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't pick out a child actor now, like, and be like, oh yeah, that's the one for Charlie. He just has to whine and cry the whole time that his dad's
Right.
Santa Claus. Now age him up a little bit. I like that. I picked Jason Bateman or Jason Sudeikis as the Scott Calvin character.
Oh, let me look at.
Because Vince Vaughn's a good one. That's a good one too. Just
Vince
kind of
Vaughn
like
was good.
like I was thinking Jason Bateman or Sudeikis because like I feel like they're good at being like jerks.
Yep, both of those have been really good.
Bateman. For Bernard, I cast Gaten Matarazzo, who is Dustin from Stranger Things.
Oh my god, I like it though.
Yeah, I like it. All right, fun fact time.
Oh wait, I do have one more thing to say. So talking about like Charlie, the current, not current, I guess, but the guy the kid who played Charlie in this version, I thought his acting like kind of blows sometimes, but other times it was really great. But like I thought sometimes he turned up the cheese factor a little too much. I don't know if you felt the same.
I think he was like, I think watching it this time and being super analytical of it, I felt like he was so whiny. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if it's his voice. I think I remember this kid the most from this movie, but Dunstan checks in. He's the main character in Dunstan.
Yeah, I figured you would say that.
Yeah. No, I like him. I think he's a cute kid. He's adorable.
Yeah.
And he's in all of the Santa Claus. He's in the whole franchise. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I also felt like this movie started off like, and I meant to mention this earlier, but I thought this movie started off like really good, and then just slowly got worse and less memorable. Mm-hmm. And I've always felt this way. Like even as a kid, I thought like I would turn it on and watch it, and then I would stop paying attention because I was like, it's getting worse and worse and worse.
I think it gets a little bit more kid. I don't know. The moments I think it's probably losing is in the kid moments, like when the ELF show up, or some of that stuff is a little bit childish and kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But
I think that's the exact. You're right. I think you could pinpoint that exact moment where I'm like, all right, like I'll go do something.
Because honestly, by the end of the movie, I was a little bored, and I was like, when do they get their weenie whistle, and when do they like? I kept waiting for it. I remember all the parts, like the tinsel and like them not getting them out of jail and everything. But I was I'm with you. I still like it. Yeah.
And then to kind of piggyback off that too, I do have a question for you. Like not a huge question, like not the big.
Oh, you want me to play it again?
No, don't. Unless you're gonna play like the whole 90 seconds. At the end, like the mom says something that this is the first time I'd actually like caught it. Not caught it, but had given some thought behind it. The mom says, "Oh yeah, I don't know if something happened like the Santa like flew in his sleigh or something. I can't remember." And at the end, the mom says, "Neil, relax. I'll explain it to you later." And that made me wonder, like, is she in on it, or like is she just indicating that she believes again and he doesn't, or what?
I'll explain it to you later.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was
Yeah,
something about
where's
like
that?
Santa had like flown by or something, and she was like, I don't know. Like Neil was super confused because he was like, "What the fuck? Like Santa is real or whatever?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she was like, "Neil, relax. I'll explain it to you later." I was like, "Wait, like what?"
Oh yeah, I guess it probably has to do with that then. Like
I
him just
would
being
guess
in
so.
like disbelief and everything that he ever knew was just like or assumed
Yeah.
it's just blown his mind. So yeah, I don't
It's an
know.
interesting line. I don't know. Yeah.
Just a good wife trying to calm her husband down.
Well, it could have been. Yeah.
Just good couple. All right, fun fact time.
I'm sure you got a bunch.
I'll go ahead and say this. Like I said, Tim Allen was having a heck of a mid 90s. He had, for a 1 week in November, he had the number one movie at the box office, the number one rated television show, and the number one New York Times best-selling book. Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man is the name of that book, by the way. But like, is there anybody else that's ever done that? Number one movie, number one TV show, number one book.
There's no way.
Crazy.
There's no way.
That is crazy to me.
That is wild.
So that's one. Give me one of yours.
Well, damn. How I'm supposed to compete with that?
I mean, there's so many fun facts.
Are there?
Yeah.
I got 3 written down, but I've also discovered some more this morning. So the first one I've got is the director, John Pasquin, also directed Home Improvement, as we know, and a lot of other stuff with Tim Allen. But he also plays Santa number 6 in the lineup.
Oh, no, I did. Oh, nice.
So yeah, he just kind of inserted himself.
Tim Allen's stuntman is the Santa that falls off the roof.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a pretty cool one.
That is cool.
Also, I'm not sure if Disney has a strict no hiring of ex-convicts. That was one of the IMDb facts, but they made an exception for Tim Allen because Tim Allen obviously has a criminal record for cocaine possession in the 80s or 70s.
Well, they doubled down then too with Toy Story.
Oh yeah, they were like, "Nah, we love this guy.
Yeah,
we love him so much.
He's above the law." I've got there are hidden elves throughout the movie, of course.
I picked that out as I was watching. I was like, "There's an elf. There's an elf."
Like, because you would see the ears, and you were like, "Yep."
I didn't know. I think it was this time that I noticed the elf in the classroom.
Yeah, dude, I had never noticed that before either.
I've always seen them like at the very beginning of the movie when kids are looking in the mirror or looking in the toy shop window. I was like, "That's an elf right there."
Yeah, some of them are obvious.
Yeah, there's that girl who has like the biggest cheeks I've ever seen on a human being. She's just all cheeks. That poor girl with just cheeky. But yeah, I love that part of this, that there are always elves out in the world just hanging out, which makes me think that this was a setup the whole time.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Because they were like, we're going to, keep a watch on him.
Yeah. What else you got?
This was the first lead film role for Tim Allen. Obviously, was this before Toy Story?
Yeah, this comes out a year before Toy Story.
Okay, well, I didn't know if it counted like animation or not, but I mean, regardless.
Is Buzz Lightyear's not the lead of Toy Story anyway?
You could argue that he was.
I would say Woody is the lead of Toy Story 1, especially Toy Story 1.
My son calls it Woody Buzz.
I mean, obviously they're a team, but I think it's about Woody. I think 2 is maybe more about Buzz.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But
that's a good point.
I do think they are Woody movies, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. The original name of the movie was supposed to be called Such a Clatter.
That's a terrible name for this movie.
Oh.
I think. Don't be mad because I don't like it as a name.
I don't hate it.
I love the Santa Claus as the name. I think
I
that's
hate the Santa Claus. What a shitty movie name.
Why? And honestly, this movie confused me on how to spell Santa Claus for the next 30 years.
Exactly. That's why it sucks.
I don't know. I don't feel like I don't know. I like the Santa Claus. I think it's a perfect name.
Well,
agree to disagree.
Yeah.
There are several portraits of past Santas on the wall of Santa's bedroom. So that means that this has happened many times before.
Yeah, I do remember reading that.
I want to see a spinoff. I don't care about Scott Calvin's Santa Claus now. I want a different Santa Claus.
I wouldn't mind that, yeah.
But I mean, Steve Carell turn into Santa Claus.
I wouldn't hate
meta.
it.
That's a little meta, but I like it.
Oh shit. During filming the original movie, Lloyd had to wear dentures. Well, Lloyd is Charlie. Sorry. I was reading the actor's name.
Yeah.
Charlie had to wear dentures after knocking out his front teeth being at a baseball game with his family. The poster image of Scott Calvin and Charlie was not actually Charlie's body like the actor. It was just like some random kid standing behind a cutout of Tim Allen. Awesome. And they didn't want to pay that kid for another day, so they just photoshopped his face on it.
Suck it.
Yeah.
One of the things I did see, this is my last one on here because we covered a lot of them. The code that the elf puts into the keypad is 1239, which has to do with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was created in the December of 1939, hence 1239.
Interesting. Okay. I've also got that the original script was like much darker, and they had Scott actually shooting Santa Claus because he thought he was a robber, and they were like, "Yeah, we can't do this. It's too dark."
Now, I mean, that would have told us for certain that Santa Claus is dead, though.
Yeah, you know what? It would have. It would have given us some closure.
We wouldn't be sitting here debating what happens, you know?
Yeah. Tim Allen underwent 6 hours of makeup and prosthetics, like to become, the fat Santa.
Yeah.
And like that was the max that he had to that he could stay in the fat suit was 6 hours because it had like no ventilation. And that doesn't include the 2 hours it took to take off of him.
Oh God, 2 hours to take off.
Yeah, he had apparently told people like you can't describe how maddening the process is. Like it's terrible. He had like heat rashes, scars, scratches, and infections because of all of it.
Gross. And then he chose to play this 3 more times.
Yeah. So, but I mean, surely they got better at it.
Oh yeah, I bet way better. Anything else?
There, most of Tim Allen's lines, I think, were ADR because he had a bunch of bells on him. So,
really?
Yeah, so you would hear the bells, and so they had to actually do, mostly ADR because people would say, "What's all that ringing?" And he'd be like, "It's just me walking."
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I think that's the most. I think that's all I've got.
Perfect. I love it. A lot of fun things in this movie. It's a fun movie.
Oh no, I just missed it. Hold on, because there's one that has to do with one of the movies I believe we watched earlier. Yes. So in its opening weekend, early November 1994, the Santa Claus debuted at number 2 behind Interview with a Vampire. But of course, the Santa Claus kept performing where Interview with a Vampire didn't, so it surpassed it.
Nice. Way better. Way better movie than Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, not way better, but it's better. All right. Like a fine wine and dish, if you could pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
The Santa Claus 2. Just kidding.
Obviously.
No, I have a few. I'm not sure. Gosh, I've got too many, to be honest. So if you want to like go with one where the elves kind of carry the load, I would say Arthur Christmas, which I really love. If you want to go with a better movie, a better Christmas movie, I would say Home Alone.
Okay.
Which we also talked about as far as the music is very similar. I would, if you want a modern twist on this, I would say Christmas Chronicles. Another one would be 8-Bit Christmas, which I really love.
I did like that movie a lot. I liked Christmas Chronicles a lot too.
If you want to stick with Tim Allen, I'd say Christmas with the Cranks.
Oh, hey, I forgot all about that one.
If you want to see how shitty this would be as a non-Christmas movie and open your eyes to see how bad it really is, you could watch Joe Somebody. And
might as well watch Jungle to Jungle while you're at it.
There's a little Christmas element in this little-known movie called House Guest that would be good as well. And you're not going to believe this, but I've got to pee.
That's fine. That's okay. Well,
okay.
That's great. You need to go to the doctor.
I know. Mute me, and I will listen as I am in the bathroom.
All right. We're gonna mute him. For my movies, I like that. I liked his movies; those were good. If we wanted to continue with home improvement theme, there is a Christmas movie out there starring Jonathan Taylor Thomas called "I'll Be Home for Christmas," which is another Disney movie. I don't know if it's on Disney Plus or not, but if you want to keep up the home improvement thing. If we're going to talk about bad dads in Christmas, then we'll talk about Elf. James Caan plays another shitty dad at Christmas with a little bit of magical elements and believing in Santa and having Christmas spirit. I think Elf is a perfect one. Jingle All the Way. I'm surprised that Spencer didn't mention that before he went pee as another shitty dad at Christmas. If we're just looking at shitty dad movies, other ways that you can go, Mrs. Doubtfire is a great pairing for this. Thank you, Elizabeth, for telling me or saying, Mrs. Doubtfire is as a good one. Liar, Liar is another good one for this as like shitty dad movies where he has to go through something to become a better dad. Liar, Liar is obviously a good one to go with. So those are my 5. I already mentioned Jungle to Jungle. So
let me just say that if you aren't familiar with Jingle All the Way, Sinbad is in that one as well.
We have Sinbad's biggest fan here. I think for your birthday or Christmas or something, I'm gonna send you to like meet Sinbad.
I might have I might faint if I see Sinbad.
I imagine you're gonna be like Troy from Community when he meets LeVar Burton. He doesn't want to meet him at all, and he just stands there. That's you if you ever met Sinbad in real life. Can we start that? Can we get a GoFundMe out there to raise money so that we can get? Because with Spencer's declining health, he went to go pee twice in this hour straight.
Has it only been twice? Dude, I've got my bladder is something else.
Yeah, this is good. This is a good point here. Mrs. Doubtfire and the Santa Claus are both movies that as I've gotten older, I understand the mom more. And it goes along with the stepdad too in this. Like, he's not a villain. But as a kid, he is the villain. But as an adult, you're like, no, he's being very practical. He's being very like, hey, this isn't good for this child to make him think these ways. So yeah, as we get older, we're
That begs the question: Stepdad, who would you take more, Stepdad? Oh shit, that's a good point.
That is cool.
Okay. Hold on. Go ahead and read that.
Apparently, in chat, there's a theory on Reddit about Elf and Santa Claus being in the same universe. That's interesting. I like that though.
I do
like
too.
that a lot. And the elves in there. Oh, we've got a link here. You can click on that if you want.
That's the world's longest link.
That is the world's longest link.
I will say, like, which stepdad do you like better? What was
Pierce,
it?
Pierce Brosnan or
yeah.
I don't know. I actually think they're both really good because, like, I think it was this rewatch though of Mrs. Doubtfire where I was more impressed with Pierce Brosnan because I didn't catch those things when I was younger. Because he was like, I love those kids. I would do anything for them. I never thought I would love kids, but I love those kids. So I think I'm going to give Pierce the edge here, just because he was more forthright in being like, "No, I am so in love with that woman and her kids, and I'm here for it." So
that was my thought too. Yeah.
I think, he's fucking James Bond. Like, he's kind of got it over on him. All right, on a scale of 1 to 5, how likely are you to rewatch this movie?
I gave this a rewatchability rating of 4. I thought it was pretty good rewatchability. I mean, it's the Santa Claus.
It is the Santa. I said it. I mean, I've watched it for the past 3 years at least. I was like, it's got a rewatchability rating of 5 if I'm rewatching it every year. So I gave it a 5. All right, rate the film from 1 to 5 stars. Overall, what did you give it?
Overall, I gave it. This may be even kind of generous now that we've talked about it. I gave it a 3. I thought it was solid, but I think the Christmas boost is like a whole star in itself.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I give it a 3. I think it is very kind of like middle of the road. Like, there are obviously some plot holes. There's obviously some acting things in here. There are, like I said, it does lose your interest a little bit in parts of this movie that I didn't always have that problem with. But now that I'm older, I'm like, this is a little boring, or this is not as fun or magical as I thought it was. But yeah, I think 3 is a good solid rating for this movie. So
yeah, I think if you take the Christmas element out of it, like we talked about earlier, like Christmas movies get such a pass because of the subject matter and like the utopia around it. If you took the Christmas out of this, it probably wouldn't be very good. It'd be like a 2-star movie, but because of the subject matter and because of kind of the nostalgia and just like the relaxed feeling you get when you see it, like that's why I gave it a 3.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Spencer, thank you so much for doing the Santa Claus with me. I appreciate you always. Before we wrap up, have you seen any movies lately that you would recommend?
This has been a very watched period in my life. I've watched quite a bit, and I've actually broken it down into 3 categories for you today.
Okay, perfect.
Broken it down into meh. I've broken it down into would not recommend, and I've broken it down into would recommend.
Okay.
So I'll start with meh, since it's the shortest category, and that would be the movie Woman of the Hour with who's Pitch Perfect girl?
Oh, Anna Kendrick.
Yeah.
She directed it.
Yeah, it was okay.
Just okay.
Yeah. Would not recommend. I would not recommend The Polar Express. For fuck's sake, if I have to watch that another time, I'm going to die. I would not recommend the movie Trap.
Okay.
I would not recommend the movie Civil War. I know that's going to be a hot take, but wasn't for me. I would not recommend I would not recommend the movie Time Cut. Do not watch that, please. Oh, there's the tomatoes. I knew that was coming. And I would also not recommend the Netflix movie Don't Move. So now on to our would recommend though. This first one's one that you suggested. Oh, thank you. Somebody else didn't like Civil War either. And Time Cut. You know what? Look at me.
I didn't say you were wrong on any of those. I just really liked Civil War. I think it was much different than what I was expecting when I went into it. I thought it was going to be something else, and it ended up being completely different. So
fair enough. So yeah, would recommend one. This first one's the one that you actually did recommend to me, and that's We're All Going to the World's Fair. I actually really enjoyed that. Another one that I would recommend is As Above, So Below.
Mm-hmm.
The Death of Dick Long. Another one that you recommended. Same for Hell House LLC.
Hell yeah.
And then this next one, Escape at Dannemora, the show. I have not seen the movie yet. I just watched the show, and Patricia Arquette just fucking crushes it.
I think didn't she win an Emmy for that? I feel like
she should have. If she didn't, she definitely should have. Another one is a 2023 Thai film that's on Netflix now called Hunger. That I really enjoyed.
Made me really want to watch that.
That one's very, very good. I compared it to like Chungking Express meets The Menu. And then watched a documentary on Max called Second Chance about kind of the problematic past of the guy that invented bulletproof vests. And then I have actually missed one here. I watched a documentary on Max. I think it was Max as well. About the Watts riots called Burn Motherfucker Burn.
Okay.
And I hate to get a little deeper here, but so when I went to high school, we didn't like my high school didn't teach us a whole lot about like civil rights and stuff. So that one was really eye-opening. I knew about the Watts riots and stuff, but I didn't know as deep as that documentary kind of went. So that was really eye-opening. My wife and I just last night, watched The Substance.
Yeah?
And I need to talk to you about that later because I know you wanted to talk to me about it. But yeah, it was good. So
what did your wife think?
She liked it. She's all about it. I was actually kind of shocked because like that was a movie that was like, because I'm all about weird movies. Yeah, I didn't know if she was or not, but she fucked with it. So I was cool with it. And then a movie that is near and dear to my heart that I rewatched recently was House Guest. And that is always going to be a recommendation for me.
That is the dedicated wham of your...
Dude, House Guest is so good. And if you've not seen it, it's on Tubi now. And that's the only reason I rewatched it is because I saw that it was on Tubi. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. We're about to get into this. So
yeah,
I made time for myself to get this comfort watch in. And everybody else should go watch House Guest and appreciate how great it is. That's a 5-star movie. Nothing will ever beat it. I did also finally, and this is another would recommend that I didn't put on here, was The Godfather.
I forgot you watched that.
Yeah, so I would. Now, The Godfather is a close second to House Guest, but it is still good.
It's a ridiculous statement. That's good. I'm glad you've watched so many movies recently. I'm proud of you. I am looking forward to watching some of the especially the Hunger one that you talked about.
Oh, Hunger slapped. Like I was shocked. Yeah. I was really shocked. I had no expectations going into it. I saw that it was kind of one of my. I think it was a recommended on Netflix or something. But I clicked on it. I was like, yeah, we'll see what this is about. And it reminded me a lot of. I feel like we watched. It wasn't Chungking. Did we watch another food movie after that?
Eat, Drink, Man, Woman.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what it also reminded me of. Because there was Because I think I remember suggesting like water for chocolate on that one as well, or tortilla soup maybe as well.
Tortilla soup, yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of that, but obviously it was a little deeper than that. But it's a must watch, I think.
Yeah. Well, you got me on Movies Watch because I have not watched that many. I know it's been maybe a month since you've been on here. I will always recommend, and I'll keep recommending it until we have Thanksgiving. Please watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's incredible. Love it. Yes, it's so good. I watched The Fall Guy, which came out this year. It was good. I really had a good time with it. It's a little too long for me.
Wait, it came out this year? Fall Guy?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
I think it's on I think it's on Peacock, maybe. I think it's on Peacock, so you can watch it there. There's even like an extended version. Don't watch the extended version. It's already too long. But it was good. And every time that like Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling are on screen together, it's really good. There's some cool action sequences in there, and some stuff about like being a stuntman. It's good. Now, in contrast, maybe this will be controversial because I do know that Joseph liked this one. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine, and that movie's not great.
Uh-oh.
If you watch it twice, it gets worse. That's what I'll say, because I can't imagine myself watching Deadpool and Wolverine and being like, "Oh yeah, that was fun." There's the tomatoes. There's the tomatoes there.
Wait, I thought Fall Guy is not Ryan Reynolds, it's Ryan Gosling?
Ryan Gosling, yeah.
I don't know why I thought Fall Guy was Reynolds.
I don't know. You're thinking Free Guy.
Oh, yep. That's what, because you had said it came out this year. I was like, wait a minute. Okay. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, Deadpool Wolverine, I agree, was pretty meh. I gave it 3 stars, but again, if I watch it another time, it goes down immediately. Like it loses a lot of its like fan service stuff that it does, like, because I already know it happened. So I don't know. I didn't like it a lot. And then I watched.
I heard that one was performing well, right?
Oh yeah, it did really good. It's on Disney Plus. You can watch it if you want. I don't know. Do it if you want. I don't care. Cancel me. I don't care.
Do I have to know the lore behind them?
I mean, the fan service stuff, might want to know some of it, but like,
yeah, I'm good. Never mind.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Instead, go watch the Super Mario RPG Instagram video that Spencer sends me every day because it's so good. But other than that, that's it. That's all my recommendations, and that's everything for us on 52/1994. You can get all the information, more information. You can talk to us by joining our Discord server, or you're always welcome to follow us on Instagram or check out my account on Letterboxd for all those. Looks like Letterboxd is having some server issues right now. They probably don't have enough dedicated WAM. Next week, we're going to be covering a movie that you can only watch on YouTube. And it's not even a good quality. It's called Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, starring Uma Thurman, and she has a big thumb in it, and that's part of the whole thing.
What?
It's crazy. It's streaming on YouTube. You'll be able to find it. And we're probably going to be doing it on Monday or Tuesday of next week, so just look out for those live notifications when we're doing that, because we're going to be we're getting into holiday season, so we're traveling and doing some things, and I'm going to be out of town next weekend.
What is this next what is this next month's category?
This one doesn't fall under a category right now. I don't think.
Never mind.
Let me. It might be based on a book. If this is based on a book, then it's literary month. And that's what we're ending the year. Yes, it is based on a book. So these next 6 movies to end of the year are all based on books. So we're doing Even Cowgirls Get the Blues next week. So we'll see you all then. Again, if you want to watch this movie, it is on YouTube. And it's not like a YouTube rental movie either. It is a low quality. We're going to watch it through YouTube the whole time.
So she really has a big thumb? Like, that's the thing?
That is what the movie is about. I don't know. It's a mutation. I don't know. Okay. But that's what we're talking about. And that's it. So we've already done 2 hours on the freaking Santa Claus. The movie finished before we even got done here. So It's okay. We had fun here. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on 52/1994. I love you all. Thank you for all the follows and subs and everything.